Hey everyone, I'm teen writer Noah Barfield, author of that incredible, amazing action fantasy novel Legendland, which is on Amazon now, and I'll be providing a link for it in the description below. Or you can just click here. Either one works, so take your pick and then check out my novel. Now this is weekly inspirations, which means I've been inspired by something. And this week that something is unpredictable or insane characters, just completely out of the mind, or you did not see that coming. Now I've been inspired from three different things for these. One, I've been inspired by all of the insane or unpredictable characters I've read about or seen on television that are faced with seemingly impossible gargantuan tasks and challenges. Now I've also been inspired by the music I've been listening to, which recently, let's just say it's not exactly conducive to mental stability. And third, I have been planning expansions to the Legendland universe, both with direct sequels and otherwise, and many of the characters that I've been planning, to say the least, are not of sound mind or predictable personality. Now, I'm going to outline the pros and cons of having unpredictable or insane characters, as well as what has been especially impactful to them, to me personally, and the goal from this entire video, as with every weekly inspirations video, is to hopefully inspire some of you, at least, to use any or all of the things that I talk about, or at the very least to consider using them in your stories. Now on to the pros. Pro number one about having unpredictable or insane characters is the flavor, the unique flavor that they give to your story, how they spice up the characters and the world around them. These characters are immediately going to be unique and special, and are not going to fit into any niche, peg, or cliche that is out there, because they are now unpredictable, and that has introduced some much needed chaos into character development. Now, you cannot have a stereotypically unpredictable person, because a truly unpredictable character doesn't fit into any stereotype or peg. Which is not to say that all of your characters can be like this. We need the boring ones. Now, your characters can be comparatively special to every other character in literature. They can, but to your really unpredictable and insane ones, they need to be kind of boring and stereotypical, cliche. They need to be a little more tame. These unpredictable and insane characters are going to be your protagonists, your antagonists, and your favorite characters that help you pull through your story whenever you really need it. They also set the stage for something great and grand and amazing, which brings us to point two, the challenges and impossible tasks that many of these characters have to meet and face. No sane person is like, that is a dragon. That's a giant fire-breathing lizard terrorizing that village, and I'm not fireproof. Let's slay it. No sane person does that. No sane or predictable person is like, I'm gonna take over the world today and rule it with an iron fist. No, sane people become stockbrokers or go to the grocery store. Unless that stockbroker is a cyborg stockbroker sent from the future to annihilate us all, or that person going to the grocery store is the only one that can stop them, because they have the code, that secret code. These unpredictable or insane challenges are what almost, and I say almost because not every time, but they are what almost every time separates the truly unique ones, the heroes and the villains, from the rest. We don't go to see boring characters in regular situations. We don't even go to see interesting characters in boring situations, or boring characters in interesting situations. We need unique characters in interesting, unique situations. No hero or villain is actually sane, because no sane person is like, hey, I'm gonna stop the pending crushing darkness from destroying our world. These heroes or villains, what makes them unique, their unpredictability, their insanity, also gives them these challenges that they have to face and overcome using their wits and every power that you give them, or every flaw that you make them deal with. Now, this might bring us to point three, which is some of the flaws that they can have can also kind of work in your advantage, being an unreliable narrator. This is especially useful in first person because it kind of shakes up your story a bit. The reader doesn't know what's going on because the character, the narrator, also has no idea what's going on. Sometimes their grasp on reality can be tenuous, at best. They might have some reality warping effects going on with their mind that they don't know about, or they could be suffering some from some mental disorders or some extreme stress that is just kind of reality bending to them, and they don't really have any clue about anything. Most of us feel this way, so I'm pretty sure someone can relate to that. Now, point 4 is having the dangerous edge that this gives them. The accomplishments or the underdog-esque abilities of being able to overcome through unorthodox methods. This unpredictability and insanity is what makes these characters such threats to their opponents. Nothing is scarier than an insane psychopath who doesn't feel the way we do and doesn't do things the way we do. We don't like the unknown as humans, wanting to know everything all the time. The internet. So, unpredictability, insanity, things we don't understand and can't explain, or things that we can't relate to, kind of scare us a bit. Having an unpredictable hero is exactly what a villain needs for at the very least a challenge. It's what makes them so dangerous. No matter how often, these characters get wailed on, some of the unorthodox methods of getting wailed on actually pull through for them in the end, and I don't know how many times villains have underestimated heroes or heroes have underestimated villains, and the unpredictable cunning or cleverness or extreme insanity to try one of their plans has actually allowed the opposite to get the better of their opponent. But that is not to say that these insane, unpredictable, amazing characters are without their faults. They have lots of them, and there are two big cons, in my opinion, to using this that we have to watch out for. First of all, these characters can seem overpowered very quickly. Having such an edge over everyone else can make them seem kind of unstoppable, and that's boring. Like, hey, I'm just gonna keep swatting flies the entire episode because that's what the human race is to me, because I am super powerful and unpredictable and insane, and no one can stop me. That's boring, and we don't want to read that. We want characters with challenges, and a great way to make sure that they are kind of brought down to their knees is to give them impossible tasks that sometimes beat them. The greater the character, the greater the task they need to face. Also, their opponent or opponents need to be almost as unpredictable, or more so, and just as equally insane and driven as they are to stop them. Because this presents a great challenge. What do you have whenever you have two unpredictable characters? They can't predict each other. And that battle, that conflict, is so much more interesting than predictable characters can be. But two, the biggest con, in my opinion, that we have to all look out for is these characters can seem unrelatable very fast. Yes, an insane character can be fun to write and can be fun to read. But how well are we going to relate to them? How well are we going to relate to an unpredictable character who can slay dragons, or who can conquer worlds, or who can destroy an entire Starfleet with their one tiny spaceship through unorthodox underdog methods? We can't, because most of us aren't going to be able to experience any of these things in our lifetime. I mean, maybe the space travel for lucky or dragons, but who knows? Most of us are not going to be able to experience these things. It is important to humanize these seemingly inhuman characters. Giving them flaws and challenges is a great way to do that because it brings out the weaknesses in people. And for whatever reason, humanity loves to look at and point out the weaknesses in others, especially whenever they can't talk back to us. So, doing that is a great way, but it should not be overused because then it can almost seem kind of a cop-out. Giving them actual, not overpowered strengths, perhaps their kindness, or something else equally as cheesy, is their actual genuine strength that does not help them in any way in a story, but is great with their people skills, and kind of relates us to them in a semi-charitable way? Maybe? I don't know. I don't write kindness into characters. But maybe that's your thing. There are many ways to humanize characters, and that's a great way to avert this con, but if you don't look out for it, and if you don't find yourself attached to this character while you're writing, look out, because as fun as they may be, people aren't going to care for them. Now, this has obviously been Weekly Inspirations, and I hope all of you, or at least some of you, have been inspired by some of the things I've said. Now, as I said before, my novel, Legendland, is on Amazon now, and a link for it is in the description below, or you can just click one of the links I provided in this video. Now, I hope that I've inspired some of you, and I urge all of you to keep writing and to keep seeking ways to inspire yourselves and to push the writing limits and boundaries and your own. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please either leave a comment below or contact me at my website, www.arc-storm.com, or do both. I'm not picky. I hope that this has been helpful in some way and that you all continue to watch and enjoy.